What Dale Carnegie, Stephen King, and Janet Evanovich have in common. They have developed frameworks and routine to conquer the blank page. Let's see how to start your B2B content creator journey. Welcome, I'm Frederic Bruno, and it's the 10th episode of the Content Creator Weekly Show. Let's dive in right here. Welcome. I'm glad to close this show with the amazing Cyril Coste, aka the Digital Transformation Navigator. How are you today, Cyril?
I'm very well, Fred. Thank you. Thank you for this very nice introduction. I should pay you. That's amazing.
My pleasure. My pleasure. I see, in fact, on your Twitter account that you define yourself as the Digital Transformation Navigator.
Yeah, well, yeah. Over the years, I've had many kind of nicknames or whatever.
Yeah.
When you work with, when you listen to people like Gary V or Seth Godin, extra, they will tell you, find your personal brand. What
Absolutely.
define you outside the pack. So when I started digital transformation 15 years ago, very few people talk about it. It was either business transformation or IT transformation
Yeah.
or experience management, but there was nothing that combined everything. And so that's why I saw that. And it's one of your, I know you like this guy, Dickie Bush. He's the one who
Yeah.
suggested me
Absolutely.
the digital transformation navigator. He's the one. Uh,
Nice story. Nice
so
story. And Cyril, this week we've
that's
got
for my creds. That's for my creds.
yeah. This week we've got something special. We decided to put ourselves in the shoes of a new content creators, a new B2B content creators, and to show people the first step of this journey. Can you tell us more about what we are going to learn today?
Yes, it's a question I often get is, oh, but I don't know enough, or what I'm going to say is not going to interest my audience, or people already know that. And you know what? You're wrong. You know, if you know more than an average person in your topic, you have something to share. It's if there is something that you know that someone else doesn't, and that thing can bring value to their life, then you must share this content. And so this is why it's important to, okay, let's pass these first barriers, this fear, like, okay, I'm going to be judged,
Yeah,
my colleague, my friends, my family, whoever. No, you're not going to be judged. As long as you are yourself and what you
absolutely.
say is true, authentic, and valuable, you have, you have nothing to fear and everything to conquer.
Absolutely, absolutely. But just before diving into this process and a, a short of your story, by the way, I'd like to have your feedback on some news I've seen this week. So if you're okay, Cyril, let's start with.
Gosh,
So,
there are so
uh,
many effects now. I'm
oh
lost.
yeah,
Like this, it looks like
every weeks we've got better and better. You,
yeah.
you
Gosh, I'm
can see.
impressed by
And,
the
uh,
production.
oh, you have no idea about about all the backstage.
Gosh,
And this week, I want to have your feedback on two things. And the first one is something my brothers and also co-founder of Foxy Nerds, Nicolas, shared with me this morning. He had the opportunity to see a lecture of a workshop of Luc Julia, the father of Siri, and an attorney yesterday at the Sorbonne. And during this conference, Luc Julia speak about copyrights. because when you are producing content thanks to generative AI like ChatGPT or Jasper or something else, the main question people have is, do I have the rights on the content produced with the generative AI? And the answer of Luke Julia and the attorney is, and the lawyer is really interesting. They said ChatGPT or generative AI are just a tool to produce content. They produce content because you write a prompt. So you are at the origin of the prompt, and they just produce something because you ask them thanks to a prompt. So at the end, they have no the property of the content. You have the copyright on the content that generative AI produce. So I know that there is a lot of difference between countries. It was a feedback of somebody living in France, but I think it's really interesting to have that in mind. Do you agree with Luc Julia and the French lawyer on that part, or do you have another view?
Firstly, I'm not a lawyer. Okay. uh, so that's
Me neither.
that, that should answer the question now. Um, there are so many different aspects. If we talk about generative AI, we need, okay, in this case, we need to differentiate between text generated and art generated. Why? Because
Yeah.
text, such as what OpenAI has done, the model has been trained, excuse me, on
Yeah.
public information like Wikipedia, so information in the public domain. For the art part, this is why it becomes a bit more complicated, because, for example, some visuals may be in the public domain, but the ownership of the copyright is owned by the artist. So even if the visual can be in the public domain, the right still owned by someone else. So if you train a model
Yeah.
with art on someone else uh, out property, on painting, on the visual, on the video, on the sound, where is the difference? Who owns? I think that's a very much that's a debate that is going to be
Absolutely. It's
in the news
fundamental.
for a long
It's
time.
fundamental
I,
for a lot of content creators. And if people are interested, they can leave a comment or just send in a
mm,
message. We can schedule an episode when we invite a lawyer and specialist in intellectual property to have this debate and to better understand the impact on content creator job. Maybe it could be a great topic for a next episode, Cyril.
yeah, I think we should have the two views, because very often we hear the views from the artist. And
Yeah,
artists, especially people in studio, Hollywood extras, they have access to the media easily, so they are very vocal, and you can see them a lot more compared to the
yeah,
benefits that can be, brought by these technologies, usually by more like software companies or developers who don't generally have access to the media to, share their view.
yeah.
So that's going to be interesting to see also what the legislator is going to do in order of to adjust
Absolutely.
the laws, and are we going to have a Chinese view, a European view, and a US view on the topic? As usual.
So I keep in my mind that we have to invite a lawyer and intellectual property specialist to speak on this topic. This is the first news I want to share with you. The second one is a tweet from Yann Lequin. You know that I'm really like what Yann Lequin
You're a big
do,
fan, yeah?
and yeah, I have to confess that I really like his view, and I want to share with you a tweet So let me share the screen I've got. And just to show you a tweet he shared with his community this week.
Yep.
It's about the way people perceive AI in different countries. So, and it's really, really interesting. So if you just read the beginning of the tweet, in China, everybody seems to be enthusiastic.
Yep.
South Korea, Turkey, Brazil, yeah, they are mitigate, but why not? In Europe and also Canada and the US, they have a very, very bad perception about AI, and they have a lot of people in this country are worried about AI and about the
Yeah.
way it could impact their job. So I think it's really, really interesting. Let me show you also the graph. And by the way, it's from Stanford. The study comes from Stanford and Ipsos.
Yeah. You know, when I saw
As you can see,
when
France
yeah,
France is the latest on the graph.
but you know, Fred, when you shared this news with me, my first question was, uh, do the people from these countries have the same definition of AI? I think I think for
Absolutely.
me that's either you are, you know, in South America, Africa, Asia, even you may have, you know, Japan, India on one side, and maybe also a part of, you know, Asia in the other part. Do we have the same notion of what does it mean, AI? So I think that's firstly, uh, um, I think the differences are also reflected in it. You know, China is a leader in terms of super app. You know, where you in one app, you know,
Yeah.
you pay, you travel, you do everything. I think there is a kind of relate artificial intelligence with their super app, which have simplified their life
Yeah.
uh, in one part. So that's one aspect. Honestly, Saudi Arabia, it's a country I don't know. India, I know that there is a lot
Yeah.
of introduction of digital money, digital currency.
Yeah. And
Again, it's a country that is fast,
and a lot of
fast,
project and a
fast
lot
moving.
of project about
Yeah,
AI also.
absolutely. So for me, AI, you know, when you look, if we look at, you know, who the countries at the bottom, France,
Yeah.
if you can scroll down at the bottom, these are
Yeah. Let
countries
me just.
which are which have the highest level of productivity per employee in the world.
Yeah.
Okay, France, Canada, Netherlands, US, Germany, Australia, UK, Belgium, Sweden. So I'm not going to include Japan, but these are countries who
Yeah.
are in the top 10 basically in terms of productivity per employee. What does it mean?
Absolutely.
It's already countries where we use maximum, you know, software capabilities, process management, you know, IT transformation, etc. Constantly. And I think this question is a reflection about our, oh no, again, something else to improve our productivity is coming. So, you know, and as usual, you know, the cost of the change is on humans, is not on, you know, the systems.
Yeah.
And I think it's more a reflection of not having the space, you know, to think about it and to see how AI is going to help me to do my work. But oh, someone is coming and say, oh, AI is going to replace me to do my work. And I
And
think it's an
this
opportunity.
is this is also the impact of how media and social climate of each country. We know, for instance, that in France there is a lot of tension now. So when you speak with people in France, most of them are really afraid about AI because they say, "Oh, I want I don't want to lose my job." Because they think that AI can do everything. Maybe it's also about, and I see that in France, that the scientific culture is really changing, and we need to be very to explain to a lot of people what is really AI, the way they can use it, and how they can use it to be more productive and to facilitate their life, not to fight again, you know. And it's very, very important, the perception that people have and the way media also have to explain that.
Yeah, no, totally agree. It's interesting what you say, for example, for France. So France have one of the early retirement age, but it's also
Absolutely.
the highest
But
unemployment
it's
rate
changing.
for.
It's changing also on that part.
Even with a change, it will still be even with a change, it will still be the lowest. But people over 55 has the highest unemployment rate among the OECD countries. So you can understand why this fear, where this fear is coming
Yeah,
from.
absolutely.
But you need to put, it's one thing to say, oh, is AI a bad thing? But you need to explain where are the good things. One of the good things is
Absolutely.
access to medical diagnostic faster, for example.
For instance, yeah.
That's a
The,
big benefit.
I think this is Andrew Ng, for instance. He explains that he's against to make AI development on pause, you know, because he say, I think it's Andrew Ng, but I'm not sure. So he said, if we put AI development on pause, for instance, in the medical space, um, we we are not able to save people, you know, and the people we have the ability to save with AI will decline, and so it's a very interesting debate at the end, you know. It's a
Yeah.
very in France we say moral debate,
No, I
and
don't think
so
it's a. I disagree with you. It's not a moral debate. At best,
why.
is a business. It's a business debate. At worst, is hypocritical. AI has been defined
Not only.
since the 50s. Okay, since the 50s,
Yeah,
entering, posturing, AI has been developed. Okay, I remember Prologue in the 80s.
absolutely.
Okay,
Absolutely.
so uh, it, let's say that it has become practical early 2000s. We have started to see some stuff. It has become more common with Siri, Alexa, etc. So
Yeah,
just because ChatGPT make it accessible to everybody in the world, what have they been doing all these decades? All these questions, they existed before
yeah,
ChatGPT. So for me,
absolutely.
that's just hypocrisy, and I'm fed up with that.
I s-
Let's move on.
yeah, but just to conclude and to say to see why I say it's also a moral question, because in my opinion it's important. With ChatGPT, people understand AI progress, you know, and they have the ability to see what AI can do. I totally agree
Practice,
with you when you are
practice.
in practice, and that's why they are afraid of. I totally agree with you when you say AI progress starts in the 50s, not just now. Now we have better database, data sets to train AI and something like that, and we can do better job. But it's not the beginning of the AI. So that's why I say people now understand that, see that, and they are afraid because uh, for us there is something new. For a large majority of people, like my parents, for instance, it's something completely new, and we have to be very pedagogue, you know, to explain, to take our time to explain. But that's not the topic of our offer to the call. But I think it's interesting to share with everybody this kind of news. If you want to have more news or something like that, please leave a comment, and we will be more than happy to share some kind of news like that. So now, Cyril, what we can do is to jump into the journey of a new B2B content creator. So we another great effect. We decided to
Yeah.
put in the shoes of a new B2B content creators, and to start and to have a little bit of background and story. I'd like to ask you to introduce yourself as a content creators, not to explain that what everybody knows, but about your story, how you start, because it's really interesting for people to understand how you start, what is the story behind what you are doing now.
Mm.
For a lot of people, it could be surprising that to say, "Oh, Cyril, you're a content creator, and it's your job, it's your full-time job, and how do you start? I want to be like you at the end."
Thank you. Uh, I really need to pay you now. Uh,
Don't forget my
yeah.
tips.
So I've been on Facebook since 2004. When it was only a few universities in the world um, on it,
Yeah.
and I joined Twitter in 2009. So not exactly at the beginning. But the problem is there was no one that I knew on Twitter at the time, so I didn't really use Twitter. It's only back in 2015 when I started a new role at HP to create the new digital transformation team in London, and my
Yeah.
marketing budget was exactly zero. So I needed to find
Okay.
uh, I need to find
Great
ways
budget.
to explain that, yeah, there is a new team at HP. Here we are, and these huge organizations, etc. If you don't make a bit of noise, you are never noticed. So I said, okay, let's go. Let's go with the Twitter way, the social media way. So there was also a bit on LinkedIn, and um, I think the angle was because I was very much focused on e-commerce and retail at the time, e-commerce, retail, digital transformation. It was, so I started to create content. I started to share my opinion and views on what was going on in this area, digital
Okay.
transformation in the retail industry and e-commerce. And it started really to take off. There was been the digital transformation was still very early age, as I said
Yeah.
before. So it was like there was no real comparison. There was like no key faces uh, that I could,
Yeah.
use or talk to or exchange with. It was like people from
When
different
when you
industries.
start when you start your journey, in fact, you didn't have any examples to follow.
Exactly.
You have
There
you
was
have
no
to
playbook.
test and invent how to. Oh, there is no playbook.
There was no
Okay.
playbook. I started with 10 followers, mainly my classmates from my engineering school, and so you know, we all started with 10 followers or family members or colleagues. Uh, so I started there and started to share and engaging with other people's content, engaging with mine, and snowball effect. Uh, So
Yeah.
we all start at 10 followers. Don't worry. Uh, we all start with post with zero likes, zero retweet, zero comment, whatever. We all been there, and this is where basically that people who will on the long term, people will succeed as the one who uh, um, um, continue even when there is no result. It's like you continue. It's very important. Tenacity is very important
Yeah.
as a content
Never give
creator.
up.
Is yes, you say You made a decision to become a content creator. You are a content creator. After, results will vary. And then,
Yeah.
depending
If
on
you
your
want to have
results,
result,
you will
if you want to have
adjust your
result,
strategy.
consistency, yeah,
Is a key.
consistency is
Is a key.
is a key of your
Absolutely.
success.
Okay.
So when
And
you start, so you work for HP, you have no budget, you have no followers, and you have no playbook. Okay,
that's it. Yeah.
so what's the first thing you did to have your first success to, but before your success, to start your journey, how you decided to who you will be, you have to speak, to who you with who you want to share something, and how you decided which kind of topics is valuable or not, because most of people, when they start each journey, and even now, they say, I've got nothing interesting to share with people. This is the most common expression, the most common thought we hear from people who just start. So how do you conquer the
Mhm.
blank page?
So, firstly, if you are in an established business and if you have existing customers, the first thing to do is, what are the key issues of your customer? That should
Yeah.
be an endless flow of content for you. Is what my customers don't understand properly, what they don't
Okay.
what they don't anticipate in terms of trends, what tools do they use that they don't like or they prefer, what process they like to adapt, what have they adopted agile, yes or no, what criteria should they use when appraising a software, etc. So if you have existing customers, they are basically your sparring partner in terms of content. There will be an endless source of content. When you
Okay.
want to talk about
So
something new, sorry, go ahead.
yeah, yeah. No. So I just to be clear, you said um, when you are looking about inspiration, at the beginning of your journey, you just have a look on your customers, on the people, customers, or your targeted audience, if you don't
Yeah.
have customers, and say, okay, for this guy, the main pain point they have is these topics. So I want to produce content to help them to solve this pain point. I'm
No, not
correct?
just pain point. Yeah, not just pain points, but also their successes.
Okay.
If they've done something
Okay.
successfully, what has been their recipe? Okay, pain points. Yeah,
Okay.
pain points is a great source of inspiration, but not all your content should be about pain points.
Yeah. Yeah. And what is the right balance? This is, it depends on your targeted audience, or it
I
depends
think,
on your
yeah,
character,
I think it depends on you. It depends on your industry. It depends on what is your goal with your content creation. Are you writing for yourself or for your company, or are you a ghostwriter for a client? The context is important, but pain points is what's going to connect you emotionally with your audience, because this is your way to say,
okay.
I know you, I understand you. uh, so
Okay.
do it from time to time when you have something specific, but don't do it. Don't. I prefer to talk about positive news and negative news. That's
Yeah.
just my way to say
And
to say it.
so,
I just
yeah,
wanted
so
to
we
add
can
something,
say yeah,
Fred.
please.
If you are in a
Please.
niche that doesn't have a lot of content creators clearly identified, as it was my case back in 2015, there was no really faces in this area. Then you, or when the clients also at that time didn't really have the right questions, they heard digital transformation but couldn't clearly define what it was at the time. So you, as a leader on this journey, you are in advance of the wave being the
Okay.
mass. It's your role to take your knowledge, your experience, and share it with who is behind to help bring them into the conversation. So if you are in a new area, so let's take right now, I know it's going to be cliche, but let's say ChatGPT for recruitment companies. Okay.
For
Something
instance,
relatively new.
yeah,
Okay. Let's say, okay, I know maybe 1 month more, the equivalent of 1 month of knowledge more than other guys because I was interested before, but how can I use my knowledge and share it so that basically I can bring them up to my level? So that's
the,
also important. If you're in a new area, it's your
yeah,
opportunity to set up the stage with your knowledge. And this way you
but
will position
this
yourself as a key
this is
opinion leader.
this is really interesting, and I've got a question about that because a lot of people now are using ChatGPT to have some content hygiene. But if you are a content creator, ChatGPT, and especially GPT 3.5, is based on 2 years old data.
Mhm.
So if you want to generate um, um, top of the wave content, you cannot use basically tools like ChatGPT. You have to use your own experience, your own sensitivity, your
Mm.
understanding of the market to do that. Because if you are using ChatGPT, you will have the same kind of content than everybody else.
So if you use ChatGPT only, yes, and you will not have the same content as everybody else because your prompt will be different from someone else and it's generative AI, so it's different. If you use a tool like Chat Athena from crawlq.ai, a very, very independent developer, but really great tool, or if you use typingmind.com from our friend Tony, where
Okay.
you can inject some Google search results inside ChatGPT, so that basically the most
Okay.
current information are used by ChatGPT, you will have a very fresh content, very
Okay.
also different from what you will get with just ChatGPT.
Okay. So you
We
can
need to we need to
you
make
have
a
to
tutorial on this in one of the coming
yeah.
episodes.
I think it's really important because f- don't use um, don't use ChatGPT directly. Start with your own ID, make your own research, and use that to write great prompts and to inject new data into ChatGPT to generate great content ID, for instance. That's the message, I think.
Absolutely, 100%. ChatGPT is an accelerator. It helps you to go somewhere
Okay.
faster. It's not the driver. Okay, you
Okay.
shift a bicycle
And
to a car, but it doesn't decide where you go. You still decide where you go.
and another question: when you start your journey, you think I want to speak about digital transformation and so on, because I see that this is the pain point or the problem my customer faces. But at the beginning, as a content creator, were you passionate about these topics, or do you just see these topics as an opportunity? And
That's a
the
that's a
LinkedIn question is: do you need to be passionate in area to start your customer to your content creator journey?
you know I, I'm going to answer your question but as usual, I'm going to talk
Yeah.
about something else before. So I've been able to travel quite a lot since the beginning of the year, and I went to quite some nice hotels and nice places. And now everywhere you go in these places, you have like influencers, doing pictures or videos and stuff like this.
Yeah.
And I'm not lying to you. I was in Rio, and at the rooftop swimming pool, this woman and what would like maybe was a boyfriend slash cameraman slash director. She spent 2 hours eating fruits in the swimming pool, and I had the same thing last week on the beach in Thailand here, where they had like a nice set, like how do you call a balançoire in English?
Oh.
Um, you know, yeah,
Uh,
um, ah, anyway, so
let me
that
check.
was a nice
Let me check.
that was a nice a nice place on the beach, and again we had uh, a lady eating fruits and doing splits with her legs on the stuff
A
for like
swing. A swing.
a swing, like for 45 minutes. And so to come back to you, are they passionate about what they are doing? No. What they are looking is
No.
for the attention. Is
Yeah.
this picture on this mini video? But believe me, I saw them suffering, doing ridiculous posing and things for 2 hours in a swimming pool, and the other one 45 minutes, and say, my gosh, I mean, like, and people think this is a great life. It's miserable. It's miserable. So to answer your question, do you need to be passionate to create content? The answer is no. As long as you deliver value and you serve a purpose and you try to stay true to yourself and authentic as much as possible, unlike these
Yeah.
people I saw, then you are going to enjoy it. I give you an example. Uh, do you think that, for example, people who do QA and test in IT are passionate about their work? I know they love their work because I met some really good ones.
Not
But
sure.
honestly, everybody
Not
knows
sure.
that's very boring job. Like, it's very difficult to show like passion and excitement about QA and testing. But they can talk about it for ages. They can talk, about
Yeah.
the different strategies, what most of the product owner miss, when they write user stories, what the developers, didn't see in the data that they were using to build their software, and they have tons of content. So are they ultra passionate? Maybe not, but that you don't need to be passionate. What you need to have is knowledge valuable for someone else, and that's it. Have
Okay.
I answered your question, Fred? I'm sorry, I have my nose blowing. I'm
Yeah.
going again to go on mute. Go ahead.
No, no, no worries. No, no, you answer your question, and I like the last sentence. You know something better that on your topics that the average other person. So
You know
share that.
something.
Share that.
Something valuable. You know something
Valuable.
valuable.
Something valuable. It's really important. It's really
Yeah,
important. Valuable, more than an average person. So you have to share. You have to share that.
absolutely,
Okay. So
absolutely.
now you have defined your targeted audience. You have defined your niche. You have some idea for the first content because you have the knowledge for. But we say that consistency is really important. It's the key. So now, when you've defined all that stuff, how you can fuel your content creation process. This is really, really important because if you want to be consistent, you have to fuel your content creation process.
Absolutely. So people who follow me will know that, for example, I curate a lot of content. I probably read like between 100 and 200 articles per day.
Okay.
I need to skim read. Why? Because digital transformation goes from cyber security, infrastructure, people management, etc., etc. It's such a wide topic that you need to read a lot. So set up your Google alerts on 20, 25 keywords, and every day, open your mailbox and read. Okay. Also on
Okay.
Twitter, there is if you are Twitter Blue, you can see the top articles shared by your network in the past hour, 24 hours, extra. So I find this useful, even if it's more or less always the same media coming back. It's a bit boring. I like to have some, different perspective, different opinion, in addition, to the big boys, that's going to set up the scene.
Okay.
So mainly, the big consultancy firms are going to, to release frameworks, etc. And more or less everybody is going to aggregate around these frameworks. And I always, love when someone say, yes, okay, but have you thought about this? It's always a bit, it's always this little difference that at the end will pay you a much bigger return. Um, so that's one aspect. Um, Check, of course, what people read, book, and see. So YouTube channels. What a great source of inspiration is Amazon on the best-selling books. In IT, in business transformation. I'm not a big fan of autobiography, to be fair, but I know people love this type of books. So check Amazon bestsellers. And if you don't like to read, you can always listen to them with Audible anyway. Um, and
Okay.
the same with YouTube. Check. The problem with YouTube is that really it becomes like a Google search page. It becomes rubbish with
Yeah.
very different, a lot of promising, shocking titles, and at the end it's completely rubbish. I hope they will be able to fix that, because I think they are losing on the quality battle with YouTube. But from time to time, you can
Yeah.
get some really good stuff. Yeah. I
Okay.
usually,
So
yeah. Otherwise, I don't use
if
TikTok at all because it's rubbish. In
no
B2B, 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 B2B.
in B2B.
Uh,
Yeah,
B2B.
absolutely. We are speaking about
Uh,
B2B.
yeah, that's why I'm saying this. Otherwise, Twitter, Twitter is great source of inspiration, as you know.
If you have if you have for people who start their journey, three books, three content creators, YouTube channels, or three Twitter account to recommend, to follow, or three documentary or something like that to recommend to start their journey. What will be these three books, three documentaries, three people to follow?
Well, I
This is a
didn't
huge
expect that
question,
question.
and it's no. That's a surprise
Yeah, that's
question
the
at the
first
end.
question.
But
I'm going to
I
take
want that you
my
are I want that you are spontaneous, about this
yeah.
question, because
I will have my joker.
it's
Let me
also
think
a book
about this for
how
next
you.
week. Let me think about this for next week.
Okay, so next week we will start with the answer to this question, because
With my
I know that a lot of people when they start their journey, they are interesting about to follow some inspiring people, also to read
yeah.
some great books and so on. So it could be great if we are able to recommend something like that. But when you start by yourself, this is a book that changed your life when you start your journey.
I, I, I I think Russell Brunson is really someone who I find really inspiring as an entrepreneur.
Okay.
Russell Brunson is a guy who co-founded ClickFunnels. So maybe
Okay.
many people know that, and he's
Yeah.
the co-author of all the expert secrets, .com secrets, and traffic secrets, and I'm missing one. All these books that basically help people to create their own business and explain in very
Okay.
simple word. and is also excellent in terms of I will talk about this next week. Why I really like this guy, and why I go back to Orlando this year to Funnel Hacking Live. But I
Yeah.
think, yeah, it's definitely one of the three books I will recommend. I will not
Okay.
recommend his social
And
media because I don't know who is in charge of his social media, but it's rubbish. Okay, that's a different topic.
what could I say? If you are interested about digital transformation and you want to be on the top of the wave and inspiration, you have to follow the Twitter account of Cyril, and it's Twitter at Cyril Coste. It's really easy, but it's really interesting because you curate a lot of content on Twitter, and it's perfect to be on the top of the wave. So this is my my recommendation. But
Thank you, Fred.
promise, next week we will give you some more details on that. Okay, so now you have your niche. You know about what you want to talk. The next step is to start and to start creating content. So to do that, you can use the process we explained in a previous video and the automation we explained in the previous video. I'm correct?
Yes, absolutely. It will save you time if you want to go through a lot of content. I've been using it. I mean, like it works. I'm going to change my script now, my ChatGPT script, because I know which one resonates with me, which one doesn't. So I have 8
Yeah.
versions. I know in the tutorial we did, we only showed like 3 version variations, but I have 8 different variations. I noticed that I always like the outcome of 2, 3 of them. So I'm just going to rewrite some of them just to be to be more like me, to sound a bit more like me. But very happy with the process. It saved me some time. Also, I'm going to use it now to automate also part of the cold outreach in order to select the
Yeah.
people I contact for a business purpose. So that's going to be also very helpful. Yeah, we will do another tutorial about this once I have few returns
Yeah.
on this.
With great pleasure. So you have something to add for people who want to start their journey, and a last tricks,
Yeah.
tips, and to help them to conquer the blank page?
If you haven't posted yet, now is the right time to post. Okay, just write, now is the right time to post, or this is my first post, but do something now. This is all you need, is take action. You, you don't need
Yeah.
to be perfect. You don't need to have the right picture. You don't need to have the right hashtag. You don't need to have the right mention. You don't need to have the like from this person, whatever. Just write. When it becomes a mechanic, then you will understand, oh, when I talk about this, I got some reactions. When I talk about this, when I comment on these specific topics, I get some reactions. And then you will have, um, when you will get some data, you will see what resonate with people, what you talk about resonates. But that's why it's important. Don't confine yourself at the beginning on a super ultra niche, because
Yeah.
not many people are very interested in I don't know, blue shoes for cats. But maybe more people are interested in cats
Maybe.
clothing. So talk about cat clothing at the beginning, and when you see where it's engagement, it will be okay. Maybe shoes for cats and maybe blue shoes for cats. So you see, it's a funnel. As we talk quite often. Let's start with a topic that a niche relatively large that we enjoy talking about, see what resonates with us, and then we funnel it down.
So if I just sum up what we just talked about is find your niche, test, write something just right now, and be consistent, and success will come. And more important thing, and I always say that, don't always speak of you. Speak about what your niche is looking for, how you can help them, share success with them, and really um, create interaction and engagement with people on your niche, not only on your own channel, but also on people on other people channel. It's really it's really important. So thanks a lot, Cyril, for all these tips and tricks. If people want to have more details, want to engage with us, you can DM us on LinkedIn. You can DM us on Twitter too. We will be more than happy to help you to start your journey. But I want that everybody in this video just write something just right now and post it on LinkedIn, on Twitter, on YouTube, on something like that. And don't put you too much pressure also to find the perfect message or to find the perfect channel. It will come later, and you have to test, and test again. And if you just have a look about on this YouTube channel, just have a look on the first video and the video we do now, you can see that a lot of things change because we are always testing to offer you the best valuable proposition at the end. So it's really important. Once again, thank you, Cyril, for this time. It's really it's what's really fantastic, and I think it's a lot of your story is a lot uh, of inspiration for people that are afraid that are afraid to start their journey. Thanks again. We hope you enjoy this video and learn something new. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more exciting content. You can follow us on LinkedIn, LinkedIn/company/Foxy Nerds, on YouTube at We Are Foxy Nerds, and on Twitter at We Are Foxy Nerds. Thanks again for your support, and we will see you in our next video. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.